Over the last couple of years, I've built a lot of different things to try and make the perfect desk setup. I have built a new PC case, a chair, the entire desk, designed 3D printed mods, and now I want to build a fully custom keyboard for it. Like, fully customized. Taking a board and the switches for it to build custom housing for that, programming the lighting inside, and creating my own unique keycap designs to make this one of a kind, and just customizing everything to fit me and my setup. So here's my current build plan from the different design iterations that I did. I know that I want a full-size keyboard, so I at least started with that. I can then design and 3D print my own keycaps to be whatever I can imagine for them. And then to house all of this, I thought that a full aluminum body might be cool. However, that's a lot of metal, so I tried to add in some different wooden parts to just break it up. But the only iteration that I really liked was having wooden end caps. I liked it even more when I made it thin and then a full wooden frame around the body with an aluminum plate inset. I rounded off all of the corners to be visibly softer, and then extended it slightly, and then tapered all of the wood for it to rest at a comfortable angle. And now we have my perfect keyboard. The only problem is, it doesn't exist yet. So let's build it. I have some of the easier parts to this already figured out. I started with the actual board because the size of that will determine everything else. This is the PCB for a GMK 104. It is a full-sized keyboard, it has VIA compatibility, and it can also be wireless. With the board selected, I'm going to pair that with the Ice King linear switches. Some mechanical keyboards have that high-pitched clack sound to them, but for these switches, they're on the opposite end, and they have that much lower thok sound to them, which I like a lot more, but I realize is a huge preference thing. I'll leave links to everything that I can in the description down below for this. The combo of these two are important because of how I want the lighting to work on the inside of the keyboard. It's going to be the easiest to explain when you're looking at it in the computer. With the board having LEDs at each of the key locations, what I thought would be a fun and unique detail would be to use some of that light to spill up and over the sides, so it all comes out the base and it looks like this is just backlit and floating. What this means in reality is that I essentially need a piece of acrylic or just an open air trail leading from the keys out, down the side, and through the base of the keyboard. I need to create the platform for this first because this entire thing sits at a 5-degree angle, so to print out the base structure for all of this, Formlabs sent me their Form 4 to try out with some of their resins. Now this is overkill for what normal people need. It's more geared towards engineering parts, prototyping or manufacturing or product development. While it's not critical for this base component, it at least lets me make parts that are super durable with extreme precision. I do, however, need to print 3 of these in total, so let's go print the other 2. Now that I have all 3 of these printed out, this will make up the subframe of the keyboard. And each piece is almost identical, but they do have some unique parts to them. The right side for the keypad is fully solid. The center has a small void that's removed to fit the PCB connection for the USB port, and then the left side has a much larger void to fit the battery pack underneath it. I unfortunately came across my first side quest to the project when trying to plug in the battery pack. I realized I bought the wrong size connection, so to fix the connector, all we need to do is this, oh my, oh that scared me. This, and done. Next up is the acrylic base plate that gets laser cut out to give me a guide to follow when assembling all of this. Each of the subframe prints have a small foot on them so that they can register and just snap down into the slots to hold all of this together. Finally, the board can just sit on top then with a foam pad underneath. This part doesn't really need to be complicated, but I'm going to make it complicated. When I was test fitting putting all of this together, seeing how cool the PCB looked behind the substructure on the bottom made me eliminate the foam layer entirely so that you could see it all the way through. Although mainly for acoustic properties, that foam also did cushion all of these small components on the backside of the board, so I instead mapped out the outline of the structure and then I glued 3mm strips of rubber to the underside of the board to match that pattern, to let all of the components float perfectly above it all, and to give an incredible look to the base, even if it is rarely seen. To be able to build the rest of the walls and the top plate that make up the housing, I think I need to wait until the very end so that I can get the alignment perfect with the keycaps. Speaking of those, while some of this has been getting made, in the background I have been modeling the keycaps for the project, which has been taking forever, because I thought it was a good idea to try and learn Fusion 360 in a weekend to make these. I watched 9 tutorials on this. I remember nothing. So for the design on my keycaps, I wanted to implement a couple different things with it. I want them to have a wireframe, to be side printed, and to be as monolithic as possible. Some styles out there are close, but they still have some elements that I just don't like about them. And since everything else is custom on this project, why stop here? When designing these, I wanted it to have elements of my desk. In the video of me building it, I was calling this an aluminum wireframe that the whole desk is then built onto. And so I wanted to carry that design over into the keycap. But in this case, it's just a visual wireframe of light that emanates out from the key. In my perfect world, the design of the keycap is totally blank on the exterior, until the light shines from inside, illuminating all of the detail. My main idea for this was to use a lithophane. If you've never seen one before, they are essentially depth map designs. It uses a light source with a varying amount of material throughout the print, and then when light shines through on one side, it creates an image or pattern. So I can use that concept and put that into my keyboard, quite literally hiding all of that complex geometry to make that up underneath the keycaps that interact with the light. And then on the exterior, it's all smooth, so you have a nice typing surface. Now, unfortunately, that fundamentally does not work. When the same lithophane is viewed from the flat side instead, it is incredibly muddy due to how light is entering the image and scattering instantly instead of coming in at a uniform surface and then scattering at the end. It is obvious that this would never work when you're looking at the test piece. So it would be like really embarrassing or something if I had to re-record this part and the entire second half of the video because I never actually printed out a test piece to try this idea before spending like a week trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. This is not going as well as I hoped. I changed a couple things for design number 6. How is this one even worse? Okay, I think I'm getting closer. I remodeled everything and I think I found the problem. I do not understand. Again, so embarrassing. Like, could you imagine? I can imagine. So if sculpting the internal geometry alone doesn't help, I tried adding some other materials to see if a combo of the two could work. I tried to paint the interior with some thinner acrylic black and grays to see if that would help any. It looks terrible. I tried, what is this one? Tinfoil. Okay, that is how you know I'm getting desperate. Didn't even help either. Terrible. Spray paint on the interior was a little bit more promising, at least for the consistency, but overall, still terrible. I also started to experiment with dyeing the prints to see if that would help any, because I want the keys to be gray anyways, and guess what? Terrible. The main problem that I'm seeing with all this is that there's just so much light bleed that none of this is going to be crisp, and it's all really the same issue. And I think that means I have to move to the exterior. After spraying the exterior and using a blade to whittle away the corners, it is night and day difference. Yeah, okay, the interior is just a bad idea. It's almost like decades of keycap manufacturers know something that I don't. Now this is like 95% of what I want, but scraping the corners with a blade just goes back to it not being consistent enough, and I am certain that the imperfections are going to drive me insane. But my only fear is that I'm going to over-engineer this trying to solve that last part. Look, we both knew this was going to happen, alright? It's been like 3 days, but I think I accidentally made one of the best keycap designs I have ever seen. But first though, let me introduce you to the monster I created. If you have ever played the board game Dice Forge, this is essentially what I was intending. All of the sides can get painted however you want, and then the panels snap into place. And this makes it so that all of the profiles are perfectly consistent. I never fully refined the design on this though, because I realized I have 104 keycaps, that would be over 600 parts that I need to assemble. I'm good. I then tried the exact opposite of that, having all of the panel faces stem from the middle instead. And then I can use another material to fill the gap, similar to a double shot injection mold. I printed the wireframe out of the clear V5 resin, which just looks incredible. This orientation works even better too, because all of the panel faces are squeezing in on that joint to make a really good fit. Unfortunately, again, because I want that small profile at the edge, then all of this is a radial design, and I need to then split all the infill into multiple parts to be able to even slide them into place, once again, making too many parts. I was at least hoping that when I painted the exterior of this one, then the light would come through the two different resins at different intensities, giving me that monolithic look I was going for, but it didn't really make a difference. Although this does look like a bunch of mini metal panels that are all welded together to make a keycap, which is really cool, but not what I'm going for. So then I got rid of the clear resin inserts, and let me tell you, that accidentally made one of the coolest keycap designs I think I have ever seen. This looks so incredible in my opinion. Like the dark reveal line, the exploded look to it, the faceted panels just floating. Like, I absolutely love this. The problem is, I absolutely love this when it's not on my keyboard. The lighting from the board kind of just ruins it for me. I think that the shadow is what makes this one so cool, and I think that this would look so much better on a darker keyboard style instead. So where does that leave us? I had the solution 3 days ago. It just needed a little tweak. Scratching the paint gave the best result. It just needed a guide to be able to keep it more consistent. I took the model of the key and embossed all of the edges and the text by 0.25 millimeters. It just barely sticks up to give me a defined plane to be able to scrape against at the edges, which took the quality and the consistency of this up a considerable amount. When scraping off the keys, I decided to keep the painted embossed feature for the text and then only shine through the outline of it. I think it's a more clean look for the design overall, and I know my way around a keyboard well enough at this point that I don't need the identifiers, but the slight emboss with the light from the keyboard will help if I truly cannot find a key. I can then repaint all of them, this time with a clear coat, to help protect the surface and the paint from getting any scratches. With that, the keys are all finished now, and that went surprisingly quick. To print one key, it takes an hour and 28 minutes, but to print an entire bed of 23 of them, it only takes 18 minutes longer because of the way that the printer operates, with the UV light curing the resin all in one layer. There was also minimal cleanup. I only really grinded down the support connections, but everything else printed so smooth already that I didn't even have to do extra prep. I think at this point we move over to the lighting to see how this really looks. This board has a couple of different options for lighting. It can use VIA, which I am brand new to, but you can make different lighting and effects for it with a little bit more effort. It does provide some cool pre-built options without even needing to dive down the rabbit hole to have something unique. Most of these are just fun, flashy effects, and eventually I could make my own, but realistically, this will be white most of the time. However, color lighting for games is fantastic. To this day, I still remember the first game I ever played after building this computer like 7 years ago. My friends and I were playing Remnant, and while playing, I took damage, and my entire keyboard just starts flashing red. It is such a small thing, but I feel like it adds so much, and I love it, and there's so much more. Fast travel screens turn the keyboard into a loading bar or wallpaper engine, matching the colors to the themes. I could go on, but it's that tiny stuff that I love, and that's why I want to have options for RGB and third-party programs, even if I am going to keep it white 99% of the time. I want to finish this keyboard up and build the walls and the top plate, but I ran into some issues with my plan. I got a quote from a local manufacturer to see how much it would cost to actually mill that top plate out of aluminum, and that's not happening. And for the sides, I wanted to make that all out of maple wood, but my wood shop, I thought I would have it built out a little bit by now. I have nothing. So I bought some steel to make the top plate out of, but then I realized I'm gonna spray paint it the same color to match the keys, and so who would even know if it's actually made out of metal or not? So we are back to 3D printing, because that will be considerably easier than the convoluted plan that I had to make that. And quite frankly, it looks better that way too. As for the sides of the keyboard, you're never gonna guess. More 3D printing. I have some leftover veneer from when I was making my desk, but the glue on the backside of this is not always that great, but I do have a fix. This part needs to be FDM printed because I am trying to melt the outer layer of all of this together for a good bond beyond what just the glue can provide. It becomes incredibly strong. The only trick is to not totally melt the print. I did end up changing the profile of the edge to cover the bottom acrylic, so my idea of the backlighting won't work. I think the lighting that does spill out is going to be uneven and it's just not going to look good, so I'd rather just cover that up. The final thing that I had to make was a screen plate and a knob to match the rest of the design, and then I can assemble this all together.